Hello everybody, my name is Jamie Sion and I'm gonna talk about why soccer is the best sport in the world. For the purpose of this speech, I'm gonna go through three main points, which will be the history of the sport, then I will go and talk about the economic income that the sport produces, and also the followers around the world that this sport has. Um, Finally, I will talk about why I think that soccer is the best sport in the world despite being a tennis player, and my personal experience with both sports. Okay. So, to start, I will talk about the history of the sport. As we can appreciate, the sport has suffered a lot of changes since it was first created. First, the sport was just it had no rules and it was just played for fun. There was no referee, there was no offside, there was just a bunch of people playing not even with a ball as we know, as we play today. It was just you can play even with sticks, it doesn't really matter with what. The only purpose of each was to pass the ball to your teammates and try to put it into the ball. And as we can see here, the old records show that the sport was actually created. Some people think that even 2,000 years before it was started to be practiced, but it was not until 1863 when the first professional clubs began to exist in England, in which it was actually the place in which professional soccer was created, and then it went to South America, it went to Africa, it went to Asia, and basically all over the world. Yeah, as I was saying, there was 11 professional clubs that created what we know as the Soccer Association, that now we still know that with that same name, just like the only change is that now we call it Professional Soccer Association. And it started in England, then it went to South America, especially to countries such as Brazil and Argentina, and after that it just became a worldwide thing. Well, now we'll talk about the economic income of soccer. According to Deloitte, as we can appreciate in this graph, we have in soccer we have what we call the Big Five. What is the Big Five? The Big Five is basically the top five main leagues in the world, which are basically the European leagues, and we're talking about the French league, we're talking about the British league, we're talking about the Spanish league, we're talking about the Italian league, and we're talking about the German league. As we can appreciate in the graph, the league that produces the less income will be the French league, which is called the Ligue 1, and it actually produces 1,003,000 per year. So, and that's the one that produces the less out of these five. And the one that produces the more income, it will be the British League, which is known as the Premier League, which produces almost 3 million in income. Of course, big companies depends on soccer, because soccer is so powerful that the advertising is a really big thing on it. And it's not only about the matches itself, it's also about like the big stars that soccer has, and how those big famous people, like for example Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Antonio Valencia, and along other great players, they have these contracts with these big brands, big companies, big names such as Adidas, Nike, and a lot of other big companies. And if they don't exist, basically those big brands would decrease a lot in their annual incomes, and yeah, they're basically a big thing for them. Well, now I will compare a little bit the fans of each big sport, such as soccer, tennis, also swimming, basketball, baseball. And for doing this, here I have these two graphs, two graphs that, according to Sports Addict, first we have the comparison between soccer and tennis, in which we will see how much people watch soccer and how much people watches tennis. And as we can see, there's a lot of difference between these two sports. This one, it's soccer. This one is tennis, and this is basically every month, January, February, and it goes. As you can appreciate, there's a big difference, a big bridge between the two sports and how many people watches it. And in this second graph, here we have uh, how many kids practices each sport, how many boys and how many girls. In blue we see the boys, in red we see the girls, and as we can see, soccer is the number one in boys and is the second one in girls, just after swimming. Well, why is soccer the best sport ever, even for people that don't practice it, or like practice it but like play professionally other sport? For example, me. I've been playing tennis and soccer since I was like 3 or 4 years old, and so I have a lot of experience on these both sports. I also played some basketball, some volleyball, and for me, it was a tough decision when I was 12 years old, and I had to decide what sport to continue like practicing in a competitive way, and I decided tennis because it was an individual sport and I like that. But despite that, I still believe I believe and I still believe that soccer is a much more passionate sport, and it's really much fun to watch. It's really fun to watch, and I have went to professional soccer matches, and I have went to professional tennis matches, and I can tell you that soccer is really much more fun than tennis. Here I also have this graph of YouGov, in which we can appreciate, this is a survey that they made, and in this survey we can see the differences between all these big sports, and which the survey basically was to ask the people like what sport are they interested in and what sport they watch like the most. And well, in this survey we can see how soccer was the number one with the 44%, and actually, and a fun fact is that the second following soccer was not a sport. The second one is, as we can see, the amount of people, which is the 38%, that doesn't even watch sports and are not interested in them. And after it, then it goes, as we can see, baseball with 36%. So I think that my purpose of this speech is not to encourage you to hate the other sports and just go outside and play soccer, because I think that all the sports have their own like magic, their own pros and cons. But I think that being a sportsman, it's a really nice lifestyle, and and I think that I'm the best example for this, because actually I'm here in the United States because of tennis, because I have a scholarship from tennis, and of course I love tennis. I enjoy practicing. I enjoy to compete in tournaments and all that stuff. But I still think, and I think that this is the same thinking that a lot of people that don't play soccer and play baseball, maybe American football or any other sports. But it's simple as soccer has the best stats. It has the most fans around the world. It has everything to be considered the king of sports. So this is my work side. I really hope that you all feel encouraged to go outside and practice a sport. It doesn't have to be soccer, but my intention with this speech was to show you why soccer is in fact the best sport in the world. And yeah, thank you.